Greetings from BB Max.
Welcome to our second show.
Just a quick note here for folks that I follow current events and politics more closely than Brenda. So I might talk more than Brenda, but it's very important that she be here. We need a woman's perspective on things. Women and men have different perspectives, different things. And she might have a different viewpoint than me, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. You know? And one of the things we want to cover is women in history. That's a show in the future. Women have gotten shortchanged in history, and we want to go into that. But we'll do one little one here first. So,
we were staying at the Cozy Cabins for our anniversary, and one evening we were watching the History Channel, and they came on the show episode about Josephine Cochran. She invented a dishwasher that used water power instead of scrubbing.
Yes, there was a few other people that were working on dishwashers, but they all tried to get a scrubber in there. She was the first one to use water power, and these other ones were all men. And that was back in the late 1800s, and her dishwasher was a commercial success, but not a residential success, only due to the fact that there was lack of running water. Very few residences had running water back then. And that indicates how fortunate we are to be alive today. We have running water and dishwashers. And what else do we have here? Conveniences.
Now we have washing machines, no more scrub boards. We have dryers, microwaves, electricity, modern heat and air conditioning. We have cars, telephones, and many other conveniences that people take for granted.
Yes, you know, it's there and you just don't even think of it. Now, speaking of being fortunate, as we said before, the luckiest day of our lives was the day we met. Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Brenda's calendar indicates that she has faith in our something special, and we do. We have something special, yes. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just done for me, it was she has faith in our something special. And remember, it was 25 degrees that day, and all she was wearing was a teddy. She wasn't even wearing the jacket, she carried it. That's why I affectionately call her Teddy Girl. Anyways, getting back to the show, we'll briefly remind folks about why we're here. We're here to talk about events in politics with some ideas, thoughts, suggestions, opinions, but more importantly,
we are passionate about the change we wish to see in the world.
And as Mahatma Gandhi said, a small body of determined spirits fueled by an unquenchable faith in a mission
can alter the course of history.
Yes. Now, this mission, this change we wish to see is for everyone in the world to
learn to live together in peace, live by the golden rule, and live in a country whose government truly is of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Now, that sounds like a monumental task, and it is a monumental task, but it's similar to what Gandhi faced when he took on the British Empire. He had neither large sums of money nor a powerful government or business position, yet
his passion propelled him to compel the change he wished to see in the world.
And the overall goal we have here is for everyone to learn to live together in peace, live by the golden rule, and live in a country whose government truly is of the people, by the people, for the people. And again, that's a monumental task, and I'm sure there's a lot of people saying, oh, nice idea, but that'll never happen. And what kind of thought is that?
It's an automatic negative thought, built into human nature from survival instinct needs.
Yep, back in the day when we lived in caves, that's basically what you had to do. You had to be on the lookout all the time for something that would be trouble for you. Now, these ants have a tendency to attract other negative thoughts. Another aspect of negative thinking is the result of three very addictive traits in human nature: the love of money, power, and control. We'll speak about these in much more detail in a future show. But for now, what do we need?
We need an internal anteater, a positive, empowering thought. Positive attracts positive, and positive, empowering thoughts enable people to work together and are, in a sense, living by the golden rule.
Yes, that, it is, in a sense, living by the golden rule. Now, we can't overstress the importance of not letting negative thoughts take control of your thinking. A good example of this negative thoughts is people who actively look for words and or actions to be offended by. This type of negative thinking puts you in a continuous loop. You're always looking for a word or action to be offended by, And it'll never end. There's always going to be something else to look for. Not good. Negativity, it's not a good idea. We'll speak about this in further detail when we speak about freedom of speech, but that will be on a future show. But Brenda and I can't accomplish our mission alone. We need your help, and the key word is we. Now, we touched on this lesson on words in the first episode. We just basically touched on them. We're going to go into it in more detail here because it's a very important aspect of learning to live together in peace. A little step, but they all add up. So,
the 6 most important words are, I admit I made a mistake. Apologizing might be difficult to do at times, but you'll feel better about yourself for having done so.
Yes. And the 5 most important words are, you did a good job. People like to hear that. You don't need to overdo it, do it every time, all the time and everything, but it's good to do. Just tell somebody, hey, you did a good job there. And also tell the supervisors, if you're in an opportunity to do that, that's good to do.
The 4 most important words are, what is your opinion? After listening to someone's opinion, it's important to say, if I understand you correctly, this is how you feel, or this is why I agree with you, or this is why I don't agree with you. And this shows that you were actually listening.
It's very important to listen to people. It's just very important to do, actually listen to them. Now, the 3 most important words are, if you please. And these are tied together with the next set, which is?
The 2 most important words are, thank you. The lack of please and thank you makes people feel taken for granted.
That's not good. Nobody wants to feel taken for granted. But the 1 most important word is we, as in we need your help. As I mentioned, Brenda and I cannot succeed in our mission by ourselves.
So instead of falling back on the it'll never happen automatic negative thought, we need for you to think of positive thoughts. The things that we just spoke about are just small steps, but important ones. They are positive steps that will help put people in a good mood, and that is always helpful.
Yes, it's always helpful. Better people, when you're in a good mood, you're less likely to bash each other, more likely to work together. Now, the thing I have here I'm going to speak about is not necessarily a positive, empowering thought, more like a positive, empowering action by a bunch of people, several people. The Good Friday Agreement is what I'm speaking about. A little background here. From 1968 to 1998, roughly, the Catholics and Protestants in Northern Ireland basically fought a civil war. There was street fighting, bombings, sniper attacks, roadblocks, and even internment without trial. This wasn't over religion, but it was more over cultural things and politics, but they lined up with each Catholic and Protestants. Anyways, 3,600 people died in the Troubles, and 30,000 people were injured. But the Good Friday Agreement ended this, and there hasn't been any major problems in there since then. It goes to show that people can learn to live together in peace. And what else do we have here?
Another example of people setting aside their differences and working together, but this is more of a work in progress.
Yes, and this one involves several Arab countries and Israel in the Middle East. And instead of falling back on the peace will never happen in the Middle East with automatic negative thought, we need to look at the positive, empowering action of the Abraham Accords of 2020. The Abraham Accords Declaration is too long for me to read here, but I will read a couple of very inspiring quotes from that declaration here. So, here it is. We encourage efforts to promote interfaith and intercultural dialogue to advance a culture of peace among the 3 Abrahamic religions and all humanity. We believe that the best way to address challenges is through cooperation and dialogue, and that developing friendly relations among states advances the interests of lasting peace in the Middle East and around the world. We seek to end radicalization and conflict to provide all children a better future. We pursue a vision of peace, security, and prosperity in the Middle East and around the world. Now, I'm sure the ants will be crawling all over this now because of what's going on in the Middle East, but it just illustrates the importance of thinking positively. Yes, the current situation in the Middle East is terrible, but not one country that had signed on to the Abraham Accords has resigned from them. They are not happy about the situation, but they understand the importance of maintaining these small steps.
So even though these are but a few small steps, we'll close this episode with a common saying that originated in an ancient Chinese proverb.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
And we hope to see you again soon.